Welcome everybody. Today I'm so pleased to be with my friend Jamee Tenzer. She has a website, jameetenzer.com, but she also wrote a book and it's called Balance Your Work and Family with Less Stress, which I think we obviously all could do with some information that Jamie's going to tell us about. Jamie's also an executive coach and trainer, and she's been a mentor for 15 years working with wonderful clients all around the globe. She's also worked in a lot of industries, including entertainment, not-for-profit, finance, technology, and she also works with a lot of women who are the sole or primary breadwinners in the family. So Jamie specialises in helping her clients find solutions through communication and communication both in the workplace and within your personal relationships. So welcome, Jamie. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. Tell me, Jamie, what's the hardest thing for you personally about being a working mother?
Okay. I'd say the hardest thing for me is being with my kids when I'm with my kids and being, mentally, and then really working when I'm working, and it's one of the things that I work with my clients on too, how to not be pulled by the other part of your life, how to really just be where you are and enjoy what's happening and respond to what's happening, and trust that you will soon enough be in the other world, whatever that is, and be able to focus on and solve any challenges or issues that are going on there.
Yeah, I think a lot of women could really relate to that as a challenge in their lives.
Yeah. I think, they say that women are multitaskers at heart, and in some ways that can help us a lot, but in other ways that ability to hold all those pieces in our brain at the same time, it takes some training to compartmentalize, which is something that is very useful when you need to have energy and focus towards something that you want to achieve or complete or something like that. So yeah, I work on it in myself and I help my clients work on it too.
Great. Have you got any tips that you could give us today?
Well, one thing that works for me is to, if I have a thought, write it down. So maybe I might think, I'm working on a blog post, or I'm doing something related to my business and I'm on a deadline. And then I keep thinking, my daughter has to go to the dentist and I need to make that appointment. And that means first I have to get the x-rays and I have to go that. And before it goes around and around in my head more than once, write it down. And it seems like the simplest thing, but we allow those thoughts to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before we just put them aside.
Yeah.
So I think write it down. That really helps me. That's the modality that really helps me. The other thing is a bigger conversation, which is about just trusting that I'll remember what I need to remember when it's time to remember that.
Right.
Like I'm not going to forget that she has to go to the dentist. I'm just not. So I can trust myself. I don't have to do it right now. And that when I have a moment, I'll be able to make that phone call. So it's, a lot of what I do with my clients is the external and the internal. So the internal is, how do I trust myself in that moment? The external is, write it down.
So it's great, because I notice for myself, I'll have recurring thoughts, like, so as not to forget something.
Yeah.
So has this been a long-term thing that you've been working on in trusting yourself that you will remember?
It is something that I've been working on for a long time, and it's something that I'm better at. I notice I'm better at it if I'm well rested, for example. Right. I'm better at it if I'm well fed. You know, I'm better at it if I'm getting regular exercise.
Yeah.
So, you know, really being able to trust yourself in the moment. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my phone. Is a big part of taking care of oneself, is a big part of being able to really be there in the moment and trust yourself. And I think it's a red flag for me if I notice that I'm not able to do that. Then I know that I need to start taking care of myself a little bit better.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's great. And we do get these warning signs, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's a very common, I mean, just about every single woman I work with has that, the repetitive conversation, you know, so it's a different solution for each person maybe, but that's kind of a common theme, I think.
What other common themes do you see, Jamie, with the clients that you have?
That's a good question. The should conversation. I should be, you know, my kids should be eating more vegetables. I should be working towards getting that next promotion. You know, should and I'm not good enough sort of go hand in hand.
Right.
So, you know, it's I should be doing more, better, different than I'm doing. And I feel bad that I'm not doing more, better, different. And, you know, I think the solution to that is to really ask yourself, what are you talking about? You know, I mean, if I ask a woman, let's really look at that list that you should be doing, you know, and take it thing by thing. Is it true? Is it true that you should be doing those things? You know, every so often something is true and it's an easy fix, but mostly it's just kind of this big conversation that we have that keeps us from feeling like we're enough, being who we are, doing exactly what we're doing.
And it's perhaps things that we don't even consciously hear going on until we, you know, write out a I should list, you know, all the things that you should do.
Yes. It's actually a great strategy I do it with my clients, but people can do it on their own. You know, just write down notice in one day every time your brain says you should be doing something different, and write it down.
Right.
And it's a very interesting list at the end of it.
Right.
If you have a sense of humor, you can laugh about it, because lots of times it's kind of crazy.
So laugh or cry about it, whichever emotion it brings up for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful. And you do a lot of work with communication, both in the workplace and within relationships. And we were speaking earlier about, you know, when we're not at our best, when we haven't been looking after ourselves, our boundaries can be really reduced, and so therefore make communicating even harder. Can you speak about that a little bit more?
Yeah. So I guess what I see, you're right, that if we're not really taking care of ourselves, then our ability to communicate clearly what it is we need and to ask good questions is greatly diminished. I also think that, talking about themes, you know, one theme is just kind of a resistance to communication on some level that I see, and I guess I'm not sure why, but you know, just to have those simple conversations, you know, ask your partner, you know, does this bother you, or are you fine with that? How would you feel if I X, Y, and Z? Or, you know, just it's like, I think we're afraid of getting an answer we don't want.
Yeah.
What happens is if we therefore do not ask the question, one, we never know. Two, 50% of the time we're probably incorrect about what our assumption was.
Yeah.
And we rob ourselves of just being able to say, gee, you know, I'd really like to do that. You're not really on board with that. That's kind of a disappointment for me. You know, how can we work together to make this work? I mean, you rob yourself of working with your partner on things like that.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I answered your question, but yeah, that's what I see.
Yeah, and I think as well, sometimes we want our own needs met so much that we can forget about the other person and almost steamroll into action. I know I can do that with my husband. You know, it's going this way. And, you know, trust me, I also speak nicely to my husband, but it's going this way. And so I can personally forget to ask him questions about how he feels about the topic, because he is so, you know, into that theory, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I love what you're saying, and I just want to clarify. So because I see this theme happening too, is that oftentimes women are so afraid that they won't get, it's not exactly permission, because we're not asking permission, but they're so afraid they won't get buy-in for what they want that they just like figure out how to get what they want without anyone really knowing it's happening or something. Like it's almost like it's you know, in the background. I'm going to keep all the balls in the air, and I'm going to get what I want, and then the partner or the family member doesn't get to be a part of it at all.
Yes, I'm really can relate to that, you know, and I'm sneaky about having, I'm very sneaky about having like what I want to happen, rather than it being like a co-creation.
Yeah. Well, that circles back to trust.
Yeah.
You know, trusting that we have the right to, you know, have our needs met.
Yeah.
And that we don't have to be sneaky in order to do that. And I love that you brought that up, because that is such a theme. That's really
I thought that was just me.
Nope. Yeah, that's a great one.
So given that there's probably a lot of sneaky women out there, do you have some suggestions as to how we can get our husbands to say yes more often without being so sneaky? Look at me strategizing. That's probably a terrible way to even come at it, isn't it?
It's kind of interesting.
It's more sneakiness.
It's more sneakiness, yeah. But it also is, I think it starts with that just really knowing that you have the right to have what you want. You have the right to have your needs met. That's, I think, the big hurdle to get over, because if you think about what, not you, but just globally, you know, if we think about what, you know, people feel like, well, yeah, I have the right to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, not everybody feels that way, but, you know, I have the right to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have the right to not be mistreated. I have the right to, you know, lots of things that we would feel very comfortable saying, you know, but then these other things, you know, do I have the right to, I'd like to go away for 3 days with my sister. That's going to mean buying an airplane ticket, and then my partner's going to have to take care of the kids. Do I have the right to that? And it's really getting to the place of, yeah, I do. I have the right to ask for it.
Yeah.
I have the right to create it for myself.
Yeah.
And it's really okay if my partner doesn't particularly want that to happen. Like, that's okay too. Things can happen that everyone's not excited about.
Yeah.
And that's the co-creation part, is that's that conversation of saying, well, gee, I don't really want you to do that. well, gee, it's really important to me to do that. So how can we mitigate the impact for you? You know, maybe the kids are with somebody else, or maybe, you know, I drive instead of fly or whatever. But I just really think it starts with, do you have the right to have your needs met?
It's really great, Jamie, because there are so many things that we say, yes, we do have the rights to, all of those basic human needs. But then when you do talk about, you know, something that is, you know, more of a joyful thing, a more loving, kind thing, like going to see your sister or a girls' weekend away. You know, I know for myself, I have a lot of girlfriends who just don't think they can, don't think they should. You know. Yeah.
Good. There's that word again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I be a good mom and go on a girls' weekend?
Yeah.
Do good mothers do that? You know, do good wives do that?
And it's almost like there's levels of things that we can ask for, and then there will be another level of something that we say, oh no, even though it should be my right, there's something in me that won't even ask.
Yeah, right.
You know, because I won't give myself permission, perhaps even.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of a work in progress too. You know, we are works in progress.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I just, you know, just for our viewers, I did take a week away many years ago now, and I'm starting a revolution, and it's called MAL, Mother's Annual Leave. Because, every time I do go away, I feel so much more able and refreshed and joyful when I come home. So I do think it's a wonderful thing. But my husband, that first time that I went away, although he agreed to me going away and we sorted out how the kids were going to be managed and I meal planned ahead and, you know, I wanted it to be as easy as possible for him, he punished me when we got home. And his way of punishing is to withhold, you know, he's a withholder. And it was horrible. And so it was horrible. And it made me wonder whether I should ever do it again. But you know, I'm now 6 years into, you know, nicking away for Mother's Annual Leave every now and again, and he doesn't punish me anymore. So I wanted to let the other women that, you know, might be watching know that even if it doesn't go so great the first time, try again to get the needs met. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so, I love that story, and I'm so glad, and the persistence of it, because our partners are also dynamic human beings that grow and change and learn, and sometimes they don't process out loud what they're learning and understanding.
My guy doesn't.
Yeah, but they do process internally, and you know, changes happen. So I love that. Yeah, don't give up. Try it and try it again.
Yeah. And I suppose it's with anything, there's always a different outcome because we all do change so much.
Yes. Yeah.
So for the women who are in an office and have to deal with, you know, workplace environments and perhaps where it isn't a cohesive team, do you have any tips on managing our sanity and our happiness within that working environment?
Well, I think that one thing is to bring awareness to the situation. Notice when you're happy and when you're not. You know, some people, I know that for me, when I was in a situation where I was going to an office every day, I really didn't, I enjoyed being at my desk. I enjoyed, you know, pushing my work through, but meetings, big meetings that lasted for a long time just really took the energy out of me. And, you know, of course, we don't have a choice always about whether or not we have to be in meetings. But if we can be aware of, oh yeah, wow, that's an energy zapper. What can I do? I see I have a meeting this afternoon. What could I do at lunch, maybe I could take a walk, to kind of boost my energy, or maybe I could treat myself to, my favorite coffee or a smoothie, or, how can you kind of note the energy zappers and give yourself something to regenerate and refresh yourself. The other thing is that to notice the people around you and identify the people who are energy givers and energy takers.
Yeah.
And we all give and receive energy in different ways. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, or there's so many different ways. It doesn't make anyone bad or wrong. If they're an energy taker, they're not necessarily wrong. It's just that in your dynamic with that person, they're taking energy from you. So see if you can, minimize the interaction with people who are taking energy from you, and maximize the interaction with people who really give you something. I know that there was someone that I worked with who was just so funny, and every time I would go see her, I just felt so joyful, after talking to her. And so, I took myself there a couple of times a day.
Yeah.
Really, just seek those people out.
Almost to plug in the socket and get a bit of a recharge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is also one of the wonderful things I think about working in an office, as opposed to so many of us who also work either from home or singly. The people around us can truly be a gift of recharging our batteries and,
yes.
Providing something external rather than us always generating our own energy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And especially with so many home-based businesses these days, it can be very isolating for women that work with their children, around them on the floor if they're building blocks and stuff. I mean, I've certainly done that myself with my kids. The train set's down there and I'm on the computer.
Yeah. And I think it's really important, if you have a home-based business, to find a way to connect with people on a regular basis in person. I know my whole business is virtual, so I really get the virtual piece, but go to be a member of your local chapter, whatever your business is, be a member of that local group, go to a breakfast, meet a colleague for lunch. It's invaluable, really, that person-to-person interaction. And it is really missing, because I work out of a home office too. That water cooler time, where you just stand up and go someplace and other people are there and you just chat, about what was on TV last night, or it's really missing when you have the home-based business. Yeah,
and social interaction, it really is so recharging, and it can give us conversations that can bring out our creativity again. I always feel so much better after I've gone and had a coffee with a girlfriend, or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Great advice. And just what are you up to at the moment, Jamie, with your consulting? Tell us what you're doing at the moment.
Well, I am. I work with my clients, my working professional women clients, and I love that one-on-one. I also I have my book that you mentioned. That's on Amazon. I have a little 3-part coaching package that I offer to new clients that is to work on one specific thing. So perhaps it's communication with your partner, or communication in the office, or something like that. So that's something I offer. I've just started offering, and I really love that, because women will come to me and say, I'm just having such a hard time with this one particular, man or woman at the office. And could we just zero in on that? And, of course, you work on one thing in your life and everything gets worked on. So that's how things go usually. Yep. But it's just sort of like just 3 sessions, just to kind of, a beginning, a middle, and an end. And really, so I love working with people in that way. It's different than having a longer coaching relationship, like a 3 to 6 month relationship. That's another thing. So I'm really enjoying that. And then I also train coaches and mentor coaches, and I love working with other coaches.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You're a busy lady.
I'm a busy lady. I have to take my own advice.
Good. You need to walk your own talk.
Exactly. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's been so wonderful having you on our program today, Jamie, and I really thank you for your time. We do have links to your website, jameetenzer.com, and our viewers who love your message and would also like to work with you can click on that link and go and start a conversation with you in person.
Would love that. Thank you so much for having me. This has been lovely and so enjoyable, and that social interaction that we need to feel connected. So
yeah, we've walked our talk, haven't we?
Exactly.
Great, Jamie. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.